I've got a bit of a riddle here for our viewers. What do you get when you put together a wheelbarrow, a garbage can, and the front of a 1999 Honda Accord? The answer, a musical performance. Today, we're at Renegade Studios learning about the music of junk. Now, the show is truly unique in that all of the instruments are built entirely from recycled items. Let's check it out. So, Paul, tell us about the music of junk and what viewers can expect.
Well, Music of Junk is a show with 12 cast members, musicians and singers who perform using instruments built entirely from recycled materials and junk. And it's all original music that I wrote. About a third of the show is sung through and the rest is instrumental. I just wanted to put together an orchestra of instruments without using any musical instruments, with using instruments from reclaimed materials. And, partly for the technical challenge of doing it, and also makes a very big recycling statement when people see a stage full of these instruments built with junk. So far, so good.
And how did you come up with this idea? Because it's very unique. How did you come up with it?
Well, I've always been interested in resonances and sounds from items that are not musical per se. And I was in Kenya in 2011 with a friend of mine, and we were working at a school, and I was teaching music there, and the kids were using their desk as like a percussive instrument, and it was making this really neat bass sound, and I thought, well, that's really interesting. And there were some other things that they were doing, like I saw out in their market, they had reclaimed tires and made shoes out of them. And I just came to me on that trip, I wonder what it would be like if it's possible to put together a full orchestra of instruments built from junk and recycled materials. But I didn't do anything with it for 2 years. And then at the end of 2013, I just had finished my last film project. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to get serious with this idea and just see whether it would work. And so I applied to the Fringe Festival, and that worked out that we got a venue there. And I started building instruments, and the first one I built was the cello out of a tin garbage can. And at this point, I didn't really know if this was going to work. And I spent about 2 weeks on it, and I'll always remember the moment I slid a bow across it the first time. It was just magical, because at that point it was like, yes, this can work. I really didn't know until that point. And the problem is you don't really know what these things are going to sound like until you've put the time in and built it. And so at that point then I thought, okay, let's go for it. And so started building.
What goes into making a recycled instrument?
Well, I kind of approach it from two ways. I either see some piece of junk that I'm thinking would make a great musical instrument. Other times I'm looking for a particular type of sound to fill out the orchestra, and then I'll look for junk to do that. Like, for instance, the tube tower that I built, it's this big 10-foot structure. It's about half built in here in the rehearsal hall, but on stage it will be much bigger. But I was looking for this deep bass, percussive, guttural sound, and I was just trying a bunch of different pipes and tubes and things like that, and then this 4-inch drainage tube actually did it. So I went out on Craigslist and found 170 feet of it and put together this instrument. So that's really the concept. Some of them are the resonance of the piece of junk. The air inside gets moved by strings vibrating. Some of it is a mouthpiece buzzing. Some of it is percussive and you're hitting it, but somehow you're getting the air to vibrate. And so a lot of times it's what can I best use as a resonator to make the air vibrate in order to get the sound that I want. And then sometimes that doesn't work and you've got to do another one. Sometimes you throw the whole thing out and start again. A lot of times I'm in a book and I'm on the internet trying to figure out how a violin works before I can build it, to understand what makes the resonance and how, what makes the sound. So it's a lot of research, it's a lot of trial and error. And sometimes you get lucky and it comes out the first time, but a lot of times it's very frustrating. And most instruments, I get to the point where I just want to abandon it. But you put in so much time and you're so close that you just keep trying and trying.
Well, I guess the old saying is true. One man's trash is another man's treasure. The music of junk helps audiences discover the sounds, rhythms, and music in our everyday surroundings. The show is playing at the Waterfront Theatre on Granville Island from November 18th through to November 22nd. To get your tickets or learn more about the show, visit the link below. I'm Ceilidh Millar, and you're watching City Lights on Novus TV.